25-25, 1.423 billion in 25-26, 1.771 billion in 26-27 financial years respectively. This net increases mainly cushioned the social sector departments, which is health and education, against the impact of reductions to ensure the protection of core services delivered by these departments. It will ensure that we continue to fully compensate doctors, nurses, and educators and fill critical vacancies in the education and health sector. Madam Speaker, the provincial conditional grants allocation amount to 34.698 billion over the 2024 MTEF period, with 11.779 billion allocated in 2024-25, 11.403 billion in 25-26, 11.516 billion in 26-27 financial years. The conditional grant allocations increased by 4% in 24-25 and declined by 3.2% in 25-26, and a slight rebound by 1% in 26-27 financial year as part of the fiscal consolidation and repurposing of this portfolio by the national government. The provincial loan revenue target for 24-25 is 1.851 billion, which further increases to 1.937 billion and 2.029 billion in 25-26 and 2026-27 respectively. The increase in provincial loan revenue is proving to be instrumental in closing the gap in provincial revenue caused by decreasing equitable share, whereas the province envelope is increasing at decreasing rate. The departments, this demands that together with departments, we develop strategies to mitigate the impact on service delivery imperatives. That means that those that knows that they are supposed to be paying for services in the province and they can afford it must be able to do so in order to make it a point that as a province we are also able to sustain ourselves, but also we are able to continue to augment this equitable share and be able to from time to time be able to fund our priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, in the words of Premier Chupuma Tabata, I quote, "It has been an illustrious 30 years of responding to the needs and expectations of the people of Limpopo, altering their economic conditions, upgrading them socially, affirming their belonging to this beautiful province and country." Close quote. With these sentiments in our hearts, we continue to embark on this budgetary journey with determination and purpose, guided by the principles of equity, inclusivity, and prosperity for all. Together, let's forge a path towards a Limpopo that not only fulfills dreams of its citizens, but also serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration for the current Dintswalos of Limpopo and Dintswalos yet to come. Honorable Premier, as I now turn to allocations per department, let me begin by highlighting that these allocations were informed by a robust assessment of each department's readiness capacity to absorb effectively and efficiently spent resources. So we're just not giving everyone allocations. We have to make sure that those departments that are the receiving departments have got the capacity and are therefore ready to ensure that they are able to implement. The Provincial Treasury assessed the business plans and implementation plans of all projects that will be implemented by the departments over the 2024 medium term to ascertain their shovel readiness. Hence, only projects that were found ready to commence received funding. And those allocations are as follows. Vote 1, the Office of the Premier is allocated 506.194 million in 24-25, 515.450 million in 25-26, 533.515 million in 26-27 financial years. The 24-25 allocation is inclusive of 83.1 million earmarked for funding, amongst others, ICT-related projects in the province, provincial energy strategy, review of the LDP for 7th term of administration, and Limpopo SMS development program. Vote 2. This August House, the provincial legislature, is allocated a total budget of 549.516 million in 24-25, 542 million in 25-26, and 626.182 million in 26-27 financial years. This allocation is mainly for the operational expenditure of the provincial legislature. I thought members are happy that they will have enough allocation. Vote 3, there is hope for Tinchwalos again, as education received the bulk of the provincial budget at 48.2% as part of the province's commitment to continue providing social protection and fund programs that are essential in the improvement of learners' performance across all grades. The department is allocated 41.808 billion and 44.163 billion in 24-25, 25-26, 26-27 financial years respectively. The first financial year's allocation is inclusive of 1.596 billion for wage cost carry through, 100 million for e-education, 100 million for storm damaged schools, and 70 million for improvement of matric results project. So the improvement that we have just seen was not accidental. It was a conscious decision and efforts that were made by this government to make sure that we are able to all put hands on deck to make sure that we are able to improve. These programs and projects are funded by the combination of equitable share, conditional grants, and own revenue. Vote 4, agriculture and rural development is allocated a budget of 1.783 billion in 24-25, 1.887 billion in 25-26, and 1.962 billion in 26-27 financial years, respectively. The allocation in the first financial of the MTEF includes 320.960 million received by the province in the form of conditional grants. The allocation for 24-25 includes an amount of 31.350 million for revitalization of agriculture and agro-processing value chain known as RAVAC projects. Vote 5, the provincial treasury is allocated a budget of 478.063 million in 24-25, 500.122 million in 25-26, and 519.577 million in 26-27 financial year. In 24-25, the budget is inclusive of 17.514 million made available for national priority funding pertaining to municipal intervention capacity building that we have spoken about in terms of assisting municipalities, 11.803 million, and infrastructure capacity building programs, 5.711 million. Vote 6, the economic development, environment, and tourism is allocated a budget of 1.866 billion in 24-25, 1.674 billion in 25-26, and 1.429 billion in 26-27 financial year. The 2024-25 allocation is inclusive of 986.1 million set aside for transfer to the department's public entities as follows: Limpopo Economic Development Agency, 834.656 million; Limpopo Tourism Agency, 82.64 million; and Limpopo Gambling Board at 68.592 million. The transfer to LEADER includes an amount of 561.323 million for implementation of catalytic projects such as Musina Makado Special Economic Zone at 417.475 million and Fetago Mutubatsi Industrial Park at 143.848 million. So we are basically funding those programs that are related to industrialization of the province. The function of economic development in the province is within the ambit of this department, and hence the 2024-25 allocation also includes an amount of 25 million for state resort refurbishment, 8.5 million for reserve commercialization, 5 million for the purchase of resort equipment, furniture, bedding, including the white sheets that you will find in those resorts, honorable members, and the cutlery, and 1.9 million for the implementation of a resort central reservation system, so that, Honorable Sishoka, when you go there, you are able to make a reservation. You don't just walk there and you are told it's full. So we are putting money aside to make sure that we can do that. The department is also allocated 28 million for waste management and air quality control projects to make sure that we are able to prevent diseases outbreak in the province and ensure that we are able to have healthy lives and prolong for longevity. Vote 7, as part of providing social protection, the Department of Health receives second largest allocations of the provincial budget after the Department of Education at 21.7%. The total allocation to the department is 24.639 billion in 24-25, 25.769 billion in 25-26, and 27.443 billion in 26-27 financial years. The allocation consists of a combination of equitable share, conditional grants, and provincial owned revenue. The 2024 budget is inclusive of 52.2 million for purchase of new ambulances and all the necessary ambulance equipment. Furthermore, a total amount of 150 million has been made available for the appointment of 143 permanent doctors in various health facilities across the province. The department will also continue funding the Cuban doctor program in 24-25, and a total budget of 20.9 million has been set aside for this purpose. Vote 8, transport and community safety. This budget is 2.611 billion in 24-25, increasing to 2.684 billion in 25-26 and 2.791 billion in 26-27. Through this budget, the department will implement a number of key projects in 24-25 financial year, including the revitalization of traffic training college at 13 million, the construction of K53 projects in Thohoyandou and Seshego at 25 million, the refurbishment of traffic facilities in the province at 8.688 million, and the remedial work at the Thohoyandou intermodal facility at 16 million. The allocation of the department is also inclusive of 127 million set aside for transfer to Gateway Airport Authority Limited, known as GAL, and in 24-25, with more than half of this allocation at 74 million being dedicated towards the implementation of service delivery improvement plan projects at the airport. Vote 9, the Department of Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure, its allocation is 5.272 billion in 24-25, 4.770 billion in 25-26, and 4.529 billion in 26-27 financial years. In 24-25, the allocation will be utilized to implement various infrastructure projects in the province, including the ZCC R71 interchange route project at 125 million, the purchasing of new yellow fleet at 100 million, the refurbishment of Lidetse Street building at 20 million, and the Musina Makado SCZ road infrastructure project at 15 million, and a total of 150 million has also been set aside for the settlement of municipal rates and taxes, so that as a provincial government, we do not continue to owe municipalities and create a burden for them. So we are setting aside money to make sure that we are able to fulfill our responsibilities and make sure that our municipalities are viable. As per EXCO resolution, the province remains committed to purchasing and owning office buildings to reduce rental costs, and a total budget of 100 million in 24-25 has been allocated within this department for this purpose. Vote 10, the Department of Arts and Culture received a total budget of 127 million in 24-25, 763.447 million in 25-26, and 734.3 million in 26-27 financial year. The allocation for 24-25 includes conditional grants allocation amounting to 231 million. In 24-25, a total budget of 200 million has been allocated to commence the construction of the provincial theatre, and the provincial treasury has assessed the business and implementation plans for this project, and indication is that construction will be commencing in April 2024. Vote 11, the Department of Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs received a total budget of 2.473 billion in 24-25, 2.557 billion in 25-26, and 2.521 billion in 26-27 financial year. The budget for 24-25 includes conditional grant allocations of 1.108 billion, which include 892.884 million for human settlement development grant, 212.572 million for informal settlement upgrading partnership grant, and 2.1 million for EPWP grant. Furthermore, the allocations for 24-25 financial year also includes 37 million for construction of traditional council offices and 5 million for furnishing of those council offices. Vote 12, the Department of Social Development allocation amounts to 2 billion in 24-25, 2.2 billion in 25-26, and 2.344 billion in 26-27 financial years. The 2024-25 allocation includes a conditional grant allocation of 7.2 million for expanded public goods program. Within the 24-25 budget is an allocation of 13.3 million to fund the fight against GBVF and 15